無理だな、それだけは。君はきっとそう答えると思ったよ。頸神経を一撃で砕く。瞬時に失神して死に至る。苦しみは与えない。絶対にミスはしない。
Hello everybody, Megazard here, and I'm back again to give you all my 5th review over the 5th episode of Dr. Stone, Stone World, The Beginning. And if you hadn't already checked out my episode 4 review of Dr. Stone, you can go ahead and click that card in the corner to check that video out, and then come back and watch this video. This episode really pulled the heartstrings a bit, as we finally get to see the aftermath of the clash of ideals between Senku and Tsukasa. So, did Senku manage to somehow outwit Tsukasa? How is the group going to respond to Tsukasa's actions? What does this mean for humanity's future? I'll be going over all of this and more in this week's review. So go ahead and grab your stone tools and let's get hunting for the truth and hidden details as we go over this recent episode of Dr. Stone.
Ohayo Sekai, good morning world. 地上に変えていくほどせ一歩ずつ石を浮かぶようなこの愛を見て世界を広げよう
If Tsukasa and the others hadn't met before the Stone World, perhaps they could have been friends. In the current age, however, Tsukasa kills Senku right in front of his closest friends. They mourn over their fallen friend, and Tsukasa fears Taiju may act recklessly and force his hand. Taiju angrily lifts a large stone, but Yuzura calms him by reminding him of their promise to Senku. Taiju launches a large boulder into the air while Tsukasa's eyes are locked on him. Yuzura grabs the gunpowder and hurls it at him. They promise to fight together with Senku using the weapons of science he left behind. The boulder crashes on the ground and a cloud of gunpowder forms and it detonates. The explosion allows Taiju and Yuzura to get away with Senku's body while Tsukasa is mostly unscathed, save for delete right there. Tsukasa believes there's no point in running because Senku can't be healed in a world without doctors. Taiju and Yuzura rack their brains and recall Senku's attitude about having everyone even in a hopeless situation where he must choose. They know Senku must have left a clue behind, and they realize they left some petrification on his neck and has been cracking it to fake a new habit that Tsukasa couldn't catch on to. They believe Senku's broken neck will be repaired when the petrification is undone. They pour the revival fluid on him, and Taiju passionately begs the last hope for humanity to wake up. Back when Senku originally woke up, he knew he needed to do so on the 3700th spring. When the petrification fell from his body, he collected all the pieces and records the day as April 1st, 5738. At first, he was unable to create a fire using his own hands and sticks, but he recalls a scientific method to learn and try everything until he creates a tool that sparks his first flame. He did the same for the stone tools in hunting a deer. Senku knew that humans are the only species capable of using science to their advantage. Before long, Senku builds his own shelter and makes his own clothing. He introduced himself as the Stone World's first human and claimed the world be the new starting point for civilization. So, overall, this episode can be divided into two parts, that being the conclusion of the showdown between Senku and Tsukasa and the story of how Senku managed to survive on his own when he was first resurrected from that great petrification. So let's go ahead and discuss the beefier first half of the episode. The first half of the episode, I have to say, hit me with quite a bit of different emotions. This episode picks up from the final moments of episode 4, and it didn't waste any time showing how Senku was struck down by Tsukasa. He showed Taiju and Yuzura gathered around Senku's body, emotional for what could be the death of Senku. Now, the next scene after this nearly sent chills down my spine, as for a second it seemed like Taiju was already about to lose his cool as he picked up that huge boulder, and for a second I thought he was going to attempt to attack Tsukasa with it. Taiju, the kindest person who can never even hurt a butterfly, nearly looked like an assassin about to put on his next mission into motion. This even got Tsukasa to take the defensive for a moment. If these two were to duke it out, it would have been a fairly decent battle. But to my shock and surprise, throughout all of the emotions both Taiju and Yuzura were facing, for them to come up with a plan to launch that boulder in the air and scatter the gunpowder on the ground, igniting a huge explosion to allow themselves to get away, was really quite impressive.
3人で約束したんだ。共に戦うと。さらばだ、司。
When they finally got to a safe distance away from Tsukasa, Taiju couldn't even dare to think that Senku could be dead. Even us as the watchers know that this certainly couldn't have been the end of him, with him being the MC after all. But the biggest question that was left with us, as well as these characters, was how could they bring back Senku? I will have to say that my general hunch for the last review was generally accurate, as in a way how he prepared himself for this moment. That little bit of petrified stone on his neck could be the whole key to his revival, as when a piece of petrified stone, once healed, can heal the area of the body that it actually came off of. So in the final moments of the first half of the episode, it shows them pouring that miracle fluid on him, hoping for the best. We then transition over to the second half of the episode, as when it reflects back to the life that Senku had when he was first revived from the Great Petrification, and many of us might have thought about how he managed to survive. This part of the episode was pretty straightforward, as it showed himself overcoming obstacles such as creating tools to make fire, tools to hunt, although he wasn't super successful with hunting that deer, and making clothes and shelter, along with many other useful items such as baskets. Within all of this, we got to see more of Senku's personality and what personal drive he had for science, and he finds it a bit exhilarating to be faced with his massive job of reviving civilization. Then the camera pans to him looking at all the monkeys that he had serious doubts to how dumb they thought that he really was, as it showcased him how far he actually came throughout all of this, compared to the other animals such as the monkeys in general.
自己紹介もまだだったが、はじめましてだな。
投げあるわ。つるっぴかお猿がつるっぴかちゃうやんけ。
俺はこの地球上で今たった一人の人間だ。
As I will have to say, those monkeys throughout the scenes it was actually pretty funny with the commentary that they were actually saying, calling him like a shiny monkey and everything else. And overall, I thought it just provided some very funny comedic effects though, but I think the overall pictures with the monkeys were, it's some people actually believe in, the evolution of like people from monkeys to humans or whatever though. It is kind of go to show how humanity is way different from all other animals that we may know on this planet, and how we can use science to help better our lives and make things a whole lot more convenient for us as compared to animals who always have their one way of thinking throughout life, and they have a certain structure how they go about doing things, where we adapt, change, evolve, and learn many other things through the help of science. But it was really interesting seeing that second half of the episode, seeing how Senku was able to go through all these trials but be able to still manage to live on his own effectively until Taiju later came down the road. So that is all for my 5th review of episode 5, so I hope you really enjoyed it. If you hadn't already done so, make sure to hit that like button if you like this video, and hit that subscribe button and that bell to keep up to date on all things Dr. Stone I am currently reviewing. If you want to keep up with me on social media, you can follow me on my Twitter at Megazard_X just to see what I'm doing from my day-to-day life. And I also posted a quick little update on my upload schedule on my Twitter, and I'll probably leave it down in the description below though. But overall, just let me know what you think about this episode down in the comment sections below, and I'm curious to see what y'all have to say as well. So make sure to tune in next time for my review for episode 6, Two Nations of the Stone World. So until whatever video I make next, see ya!
もしかして千空君の首だって。
石化が戻る時には繋がるんじゃないのか。